I don't think I was recording that. So let's do that. Okay, so your character. Let's look at it from the top down here. Okay, so I just snapped it using Shift. So see how your character's off center here, and then if I and it's also facing the wrong direction, I think. You want to have it facing in, see how this is the back of the head now? So I think you just brought it in or started it differently. So if I use the snap tool, which is just holding Shift down, like it looks okay from here, but as I twist it forward and then snap it, see how it's leaning? And then if I use, if I click on here, I'm going to have to switch over to activate symmetry. And it's going in a different direction. I think it's Z. So here's Z on right here. So see how it's off center? So if I try to work on the character here, hit Z again, just lost it. Okay, so see how it's way off? You're not on the center line right there. So the center is halfway between those 2 points. So your character's leaning. And then if I look at it from this direction, it's also like twisted. So this is also snapped here. And I can put the floor on. So see how it's off? So how to start it again so it doesn't lean. A lot of it is just really paying close attention to what you're doing.
Oops.
So when you start off with your subtool, which I think you have here. Yeah, this is the blockout one. Actually, I don't even see it here. There it is. So one of the things, something happened here where this got off center. So see how this is tipped? I think what you would have to do is, let me see if I can append, try appending that in there. Okay, so this one, see how this one's straight, and then when I click on this one, it's been rotated. So these are just little things that you're going to have to just be mindful of as you're working, that you don't start rotating things. And then this is kind of an extreme case. So if I duplicate this and I don't have my floor on, because this one's pretty subtle here, it's just off a little bit. But if I do this and then I duplicate it and I pull it up, I think this is what you did, is you started pulling this up at an angle. And maybe you were working from the side like this, so it wasn't very noticeable. You started maybe duplicating it here, and then here, and then weren't coming to the front, whoops, like this, to notice that it's angled, off-centered. Okay, and it's all of them. So I think it originated with this one that you brought in here. Somehow it got, I've also kind of tweaked it a little that way. So somehow it got rotated. Okay, so your best bet is to just, you know, bring in a new one. And I don't think everything is lost here. I think you can, let's get rid of that. I think you can salvage like some of the legs and arms, or at least one side. Because I started working on the video I did, I started working on these, angling them out and getting them away from the body. And then your artwork is whoops. And then I think also for you is just some of the shapes on here too. You've drawn over them and captured them here, but it's not really getting translated over here on this side. So in the video I did for you, you can kind of see what I did with the legs. And yeah, I hadn't really even noticed it because I was kind of focusing in on getting the legs and arms angled out. So see how I'm pulling them away here. So I think you can do all of this and save that and then just delete probably the body and start that part over. Yeah, so at this stage here, the blockout stage, you really want to try to capture the main shapes here and take the time to thin down areas using the inflate tool, and you hold down control, or sorry, hold down alt or option if you're on a Mac, and then it will shrink it down. You can also use the smooth tool that will shrink things down a little too. Okay. I don't think you can select multiple shapes and flip them over to the other side to mirror them over. I think it's just one by one. So like with
You
this,
can mirror stuff over.
what's that?
You can mirror stuff over. I figured out how to do it.
Multiples?
Yeah. No, I don't know if multiples. I think you have to do it one at a time. Because
Yeah.
I don't know if you can select more than one thing at a time.
No, then you would have to start merging stuff, which we're not
Mm.
merging. We don't want to merge things yet. But yeah, so like if I want to flip this over here to the other side, it's just here and subtool master mirror. Okay, and then just merge it as a one subtool. So the legs, like the different portions of the legs and arms will all be sitting on one layer. Do that. Yeah, I think they're both right here. You can't see them because they're facing the wrong direction. Yeah, so just I think a couple of you have also put your character in either sideways or backwards. So you want to make sure that like the character here should be facing forward with this head facing forward. And if you turn on the perspective, whoops, I just messed that up. Actual and floor. And so you guys can see, I'll get perspective on so it looks better. There's the X, Y, and Z coordinates right there. So you want to be looking down the Z axis. This would be the front of your character here. This would be facing forward. the blue one right here. And then you will model across the x-axis, the red one. So I think most of you did that. I think Elizabeth, I think yours was sideways also.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I can still do symmetry on the z-axis. So I was like, it's okay.
Yeah, you should probably rotate it though, because then it, further down the pipeline, it turns into a rigging problem if the character was ever rigged. So I think after you dynamesh it all together, which we're going to do, start doing that today, you can rotate the whole thing forward.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's see here. Yeah, Z plugin, subtool mirror. Okay. All right. So let's see. Any other questions from the work so far? Anybody else?
I do. When I try to use the blockout sphere, my computer wouldn't let me use it in ZBrush. So instead of a blockout, can I just use a regular sphere in ZBrush?
So there's different kinds of spheres in here. So you want to make sure that you're using one that's has four-sided polygons on it, and that's a polysphere. So that is located under Lightbox. And so like there's these Dynamesh ones here. And then there's this polysphere right here.
Can I use that one?
Yeah, that's exactly what I gave you guys. I just, so if I drop this in here and you go down to geometry, it has subdivisions on it. It's been subdivided 3 times. So you just want to take it down to 1 and then see how it looks really faceted like that. This is how you want to work. And then you could just say delete higher. So this would be your starting point. And then from here, up here under your subtools, you can rename things right here. So if you want to just click like rename and then call this blockout sphere, or whatever name you want to get it, that's the one that you kind of want to leave alone. And then if I hit W, I can see everything's lined up correctly.
Okay.
Okay, and then you want to just start duplicating it here and leave that one on the floor. Okay, so if I duplicate it, then I can start pulling it up and starting usually from the head or so. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Professor.
Okay. Anyone else?
There's a couple questions in the chat.
How do you turn on the silhouette thing in the corner? I don't know. Mine is just on. And that might be a 2020 thing. I'm not sure if they had this in 2018. ZBrush. Yeah, so it looks like it's a 2020 feature. I did do something accidentally yesterday and then I didn't know how to get out of it, but I held down C and it blackened everything out like this. And then I didn't know how to exactly get out of that once I hit C, but it took the light out, which gave the look of a silhouette. And then I just, I don't know what the key is to get back out of that. If it's maybe lighting. So I think that's what it did right there. I need to find the hotkey to get back to that, but that's one thing I think you could do is just hit C. I just, you know, save your stuff and then reload it. So I'm going to just get out of that. All right, so moving into from the blockout stage to secondary forms, that's what we're going to be working on. Secondary forms is the process of adding your major landmarks of anatomy on your character, and then making sure that you're paying attention to contrasting lines. So it would be hard and soft edges, straight and curved, and then thick to thin. So this is what makes a successful character, but definitely for the stylized approach. And we've mostly been using the move tool, or brush rather, the move brush, inflate, and the gizmo to organize the block out. So at this point, once we dynamesh everything together, you're going to use clay buildup is going to be your main tool that you're going to use to build up your different landmarks. You'll start kind of moving and inflating different areas that you see are out of proportion. And then just, you know, noting that this is a messy stage. It's really easy to get frustrated at this stage and feel like the character's going nowhere. But just stick with it. You'll start working through the forms and start to see the character coming together. And then as you move through this process here where it's kind of messy and you're figuring out your major landmarks, you'll start to refine it a bit using clay fill. There's a polish, the 3D Character Workshop polish brush is really good. And then staying away from, you can smooth a little bit. That's holding down the shift key on any of the tools. The brushes will start smoothing. So try to stay away from that and use more of the clay fill as opposed to smoothing. So you will use it a little bit, but if you use it too much, you're really going to end up with kind of a overall soft soft shapes. You'll lose the contrasting hard and soft shapes. Oh, the hair buns on your character. Yeah, they're a major feature in your character, so maybe just put a couple spheres up there. It looks like I was doing that in here. Okay. All right, any questions about that, or do you want to kind of jump in, or do you still need me to kind of go over your blockouts?
Yes, please.
Go over blockouts?
Yes, please.
Carol,
Yes.
Gina wants to know if you could give her feedback on her character. And yeah. And then Allison has a question.
Okay, what's your question? Jordan, did you have a question?
No, it was Allison Wheeler that had a question. And then Gina wants to know if you could give her feedback on her character.
Okay. So Allison, how do you bring up the head in the viewport? I'm not sure I understand your question. What do you mean the head? Oh, that may also be another feature that they didn't have back then. So put this down here. I think this is the oldest one I have. I have 2019. I think what you just need to do is turn on the floor and look at the direction of the X, Y, and Z coordinates, similar to what you would do in Maya. Just looking at the grid. All right. Yeah, so this is 2019 and it doesn't have either of those features there. So what you would do is turn on, actually, let me get something in there. Okay, so if you have the floor on right here, the grid, you can just rotate it and see the direction right here. And also with the gizmo, that's just hitting W. That's the move tool right here. You can also see the direction. So you should be seeing it as X going across this way. So we're looking down the Z axis. And this is how all modeling is done for the most part, especially for characters that are symmetrical. All right, and then Gina. Okay, let's find your character here.
Kara, do you mind take a look at my model after you take a look at Gina's? Because I did it a little bit different than what you did, and I want to make sure that's okay, or I didn't redo it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Let's see here. So your character here. I think I didn't give you feedback because I thought it was pretty well proportioned. I think the only thing I'm seeing on her is, let's see if this will work, is maybe, sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. There it goes. Let's see if it will work. Nope. So it only works with my mouse. So I think she's just a little wide through here. So I would narrow down her legs. So when I look at her over here, she's narrower down here through the knees. So you can just kind of deflate this area right here. And same thing here, like her calf muscles come out a little bit more, and then she tapers in here like that. Sorry, the drawing's really bad with my mouse. I think her waist is maybe a little too small, so I'm just kind of looking at her waist right here. So I think it could be more like that. And then her arms are, looks like you got her arms pretty well here, like her shoulders. They could get maybe a little bigger, but you can also build that up with your secondary forms. And then her breasts are larger, and I think they sit lower down in here. So if you look at, like, I know she's kind of twisting here, but if you look at how broad she is across her shoulders, they are about the same as her hips. Okay, so I think if you just brought the hips down and then tapered them through here, and then pushed this out a little more, and then brought this in, and then just kind of built up this area a little bit more. Okay, but her arm length looks good, and then she's really petite through here, like her wrists. So you want to narrow that down quite a bit, like that. And then she's got really long hands. This looks like is this the palm right here? Yeah, so her fingers are, yeah, so her fingers are going to be pretty long. And if you kind of drew where they landed on her leg, looks like they're coming down to right about here. the tip of the fingers. They would line up like right about here.
Okay.
And then her neck looks good. Yeah, you'll start working out some of these shapes right here. Her eyes might be a little close. You might be able to pull those out a little bit more, maybe to here. I would make them maybe a little bit bigger. And then her ears could also get just a little bit bigger. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I get time today, I'll do a sculpt over on it. But I mean, your forms all looked really good here. That's why I didn't really go in and do that. And then with this area right here, like you want to try to, this is the rib cage. So you want to try to get it so it pulls, this torso pulls forward and it fills this area in right here. So if you pull this piece forward, it will extend down to here, and then it will start forming the rib cage. And I did that on some of the other videos. Do you want me to leave these notes on here? They're kind of bad.
Yes, please.
My bad. Notes. All right.
Thank you.
And then from the side, so I noticed this on a lot of the characters. So the legs are pretty good. Again, I think they're just, they really need to just taper down here. And then her knees could be here, and then this could be pushed back all the way to here, like that. And then this area needs to just get a little bit bigger, I think. And then you can see from her neck here, it's like it's pushed forward too far, like it would start more back here. Go like that. But you want to try to get like a little bit more curvature and push this. I noticed a lot of the characters are kind of leaning forward like this. So you want to try to get them leaning back more. So you could take the head and bring it back further. And then the ears would sit back here further. Okay, and then the arms, pull those back. Gave her a belly. Still giving her one. Yeah, so something kind of like that. So here's sort of the rib cage right there. And like that. Great. Is that helpful?
Yes. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
All right. Okay. And I didn't give notes on this one here. This one looks like it's really coming together nicely. You've got all the nice shapes in there. And I think I don't see a side view on here, but you probably want to go ahead and get her into this pose because this is her neutral pose here. So getting this shape out here in the back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this angled forward. And then I'll show you guys how to put like a little, it's just another sphere that you stick on top, stick inside the head here, and then it starts to form a hair cap. And then you can do another sphere up here and another one here. Oops. So it'd be more like a little cylinder, just to start getting those shapes in there, because this is a big part of her personality. Just get those in there. And her eyes could probably get a little bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're just a little on the small side, so maybe make them just a little bit bigger. And then I think she can get a little bigger through here too. Yeah, so she's got like a little bit of a, I mean, some of this is her dress kind of drooping down right here, but I see a little bit more of a belly through here.
Mhm.
So maybe something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that looks great.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hey,
And then
Carol,
who,
I didn't. Oh,
oh, go ahead.
I didn't get any feedback on mine either. Could you take a look at it real quick for me?
Okay. This is Chris, right?
It's Yang. I'm like down at the
Oh,
bottom.
sorry. Usually it
Carol,
tells
the
me
one
who's talking.
that
Yeah,
the one you looked at wasn't mine actually.
which one?
It's the one on the top of it. Yeah,
This one
that one.
here? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is your concept art up here too?
No, it's not. But just the way that I do the upper body, it's different. Do you want me to redo it the way you did it?
Yeah, you're getting into a little bit of the secondary forms in here a little early.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would just kind of simplify some of these shapes. I don't have your character here, so I can't see proportions.
Mm-hmm. If you want, it's on the very bottom though. It's when we upload the concept.
So, right here? This
And
one.
doing the upper right.
This one here, right?
I can see your mouse, but it's gonna be the upper right one.
Okay, so yeah, you'll start getting into all of this anatomy in the secondary forms. Right now, it's just blocking out, the shapes. You do want to try to taper things down so they don't just look like marshmallows, kind of stacked on top of each other. Actually, let me see if I can pull this one off to the side. So it looks like it's just gotten a little flat through here. Yeah, I think just like areas like right in here, just try to keep this more of a simple shape right now. I don't know why my Cintiq doesn't work for this. Let's see. Nope, still won't work. All right. And then kind of this area right here is a little lumpy as far as the transition here. So just maybe smooth that out. And she's got pretty thin legs here. So I'm just kind of looking at her proportions over here. I think her legs could get a little bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe just push those a little longer. And I think her neck can also get longer too. So maybe raise the head up a little bit. And then it looks like the eyes are popping out too far. So if I go to the, just kind of finish this right here. So instead of this kind of going in, I know she's got a flat stomach, but just try not to start sculpting in too much of the secondary forms yet.
Okay.
And this looks like the right length here. Try to get like a little shoulder piece in here, the deltoid, and then maybe this can come down to here. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at where her wrist is falling. May have taken that a little too far, so maybe right to here, and then her hand. Okay, and then instead of pulling the chest out like this, which creates kind of this flat plane across here, you want to drop in a sphere and then shape it for her breasts. Yeah, so just these are kind of the main pieces right here that I think you need to add in right here, and then simplify some of these shapes a little bit.
Okay.
And then I think you could probably either put a kneecap in or pull this knee out so that it overlaps like this. And I think you need to I'm going to take a screenshot of this and bring it into Photoshop. Actually, what I might do is just do a sculpt over. I think like her legs are angling in this way.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see her legs coming out, and then sort of a pulling the calves out so that they're more out here,
Mm-hmm.
like that. I think that will give her a little bit more, like if you look at this leg here, like it kind of angles out here. And then the kneecap would be more here. And then this would be at a little bit more of an angle here. Okay, does that make sense? It's really hard to like look at my bad drawings here.
No, it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that'll just give it a little bit more dynamic look if you move this out more.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
and then let's see, where did my notes go here? Let's see the little thing to save it. There it is.
Oh, I took a screenshot of myself, so you
Oh,
don't.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, though.
Okay, and then let me just look at the side view here. So yeah, this one's also very just straight up and down. So, and it's also getting a little lumpy here. So just, you know, have the legs do more of this. Oops. Okay, and then torso area is probably come out like that. And then bring her back, more back into here, her head. Yeah, her eyes are sticking out too far. They really need to go back in here.
Okay.
And then Yeah, so I think you can lengthen the thighs by bringing them up a little higher, like more into here. And then pull these down. Yeah, you want to turn that sphere off right there, and then, you know, lengthen these a little bit. And then she's got heels on, so maybe I'll try to do a video on that to get the heels in there. Okay, kneecap. And then her ears, be back here. Yeah, I think something like that. Is that helpful? And then her, the shoulder would start right about here.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that was really helpful. Thank you.
All right. Okay, and then who was the other person who asked me to look at theirs?
I do have a mail blockout, so I don't know. I mean, I saw you uploaded a video, but could you take a look at that?
I also have one up as well if you have time.
Okay.
Did you
Mine
do
was
Yang's
uploaded on
yet?
Saturday.
What's that?
Oh,
Did you do?
mine was. Keep talking at the same time.
Whoops.
Go ahead and go.
Did you do Yang's yet? He wanted you to look at his.
Oh, I think he was probably before me.
Can you view the chat, Carol? Because a lot of people have been messaging you through there.
I have it up here.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, I can see everybody on here. I don't think there's anything new. Okay. So I've got yours here right now, Ariana, so I'll just go ahead and pull that up.
Okay.
And oh, I think I asked you, you're doing this in ZBrush, right?
I started in Maya just to like rough it out a little bit, and then I moved to ZBrush to get a bit more shapeliness.
Okay. I mean, either way is fine. I'm not sure, what does this look like when you bring it into ZBrush? Is it all as one OBJ file? Is everything merged together, or can you still access the individual pieces?
Oh, I brought it all over separate. I did the subtool master and then append multiple
Okay.
subtools.
Okay, cool.
So I have it all separate still.
Okay, good. That's great. Yeah, I think this looks fine. I think the breast might be sitting up a little high.
Okay.
Let me see if I can draw on this. I think this came in as an attachment, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've never thought of doing this in Maya, starting off there.
I'm just more used to Maya, so I figured it would be easier to just get it like figured out really quickly first and then change.
Yeah. And are all these quadded here? Do you know? I guess it doesn't really matter once you Dynamesh it, you Dynamesh it, but
I was having difficulty with the quadded sphere because no matter what I did, it still seemed to be kind of square. So I did end up using just regular spheres, but I figured I could quad them later.
Yeah, well, once you Dynamesh it, it's all kind of done anyways. We'll Dynamesh and do
Okay.
Z remesher, and then it's going to remesh the whole thing anyways.
Okay, cool. Well, they are just regular spheres, so that's good to know because I was worried about that.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Awesome.
Okay, I was trying to, whoops, I just launched another app on here.
I do that all the time.
Okay, and downloads. And where did it go? Yay, I can draw now. All right, so
Yay.
yeah, I know. Don't know why Shotgun doesn't like my Cintiq. Okay, and then let me get your image up here, which is this, right?
Yes, that's the one I'm working off of.
Okay. I mean, I think you've got a lot of the shapes here. So yeah, I would try to just get some of the secondary forms in as far as like the eyes and stuff here, like this, to see if you can add those in here.
Okay.
And that is usually what I do is I add another sphere down here for the jaw that comes in like this. It kind of gets pushed forward, and where it intersects with this one here, it creates the corners of the eyes. And so with this one, you're going to have to kind of angle it up like this and then down. So it will do that. And I've done this in my videos, so you can watch that because you've got really angled eyes here. Yeah, but get her eyes in there, and they're pretty big. Like they're going to be like this big probably and intersecting each other. Okay, yeah, the neck looks good. The breasts feel a little high, but I think that might be because perspective is on in here. So it looks like things are angling up more. So I can't quite tell, but you might want to try to.
How would I turn off perspective?
You would go to your front view.
Okay.
Front view will
Oh, I
turn
see.
off.
Just that I'm from the perspective camera. I understand. Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll take
from perspective, it's kind of pushing things in two directions here. So it's you can't always see things. So do the front view. But it feels like these might need a little bit more weight coming down here like this. I can't quite tell. But everything else looks good. Yeah, I think you're fine to get the hands in there. She have 3 fingers or 2? 3 fingers? Or you haven't decided yet?
I think she probably has 3 fingers and a thumb.
Okay, I think that sounds good.
Because she doesn't have to be like completely human, but like do more than just 2. That seems a little bit too alien.
Yeah, a little too weird when it starts doing that. And then you can decide if you want to like push some of these angles here a little bit more. I mean, she does have clothing that's nice and sweeping, so maybe you want to get her with a little bit more angles.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then with the legs, they're really close here. So in ZBrush, you can use the transpose tool. I'll give you guys a video on how to do that if you want to start changing angles of stuff, but they should really be coming out like to here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you're going to have trouble getting in here and sculpting. I mean, you could do it, but usually you want them out a little bit like that. I mean,
Mhm.
one thing you could do is just like delete these altogether. Just
Mhm.
delete hidden, like click on these as the polygroups if you auto group them.
Mhm.
Delete or split them off once they're hidden. Work on this leg until it's done, and then mirror it over. Okay.
Okay.
But I still think you can kind of push this leg out more to here, like
Mhm.
that.
I actually rotated the legs in because I didn't realize that. So I will just go ahead and undo that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so like maybe bring her legs out more like that.
Okay.
And then she has little claws here. What's going on here? Are those toes? She have feet, little toes like this?
Oh yeah, I think she does have. I think she has like 3 toes.
Okay.
I think they're just really little feet.
Okay. I would try to at least block those out. Same thing with the hands. And
Okay.
then, yeah, everything else looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
she's got a really simple mouth here. Like she has almost no nose, right? Just, what does she look like from the side? Do you have a side view?
No, I didn't post a side view.
Yeah, maybe try to post a side view. Make the
Okay.
changes and then go ahead and post a side view. But I think just since she's up in the air, you may want to already start building in some of that curvature.
Mhm.
Get rid of this here. So for the side view, just make sure she's got her spine has got curvature to it,
Mhm.
and then this is where you can kind of start seeing the whether the weight is happening with the breasts,
Mhm.
and the legs are coming out like this, and then back. Something like that.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, you just don't
Okay.
want characters that are just coming down like this, like you know,
Mhm.
mechanical looking. You don't want that. You want to
Yeah.
try to get these S curves in there, and you've drawn them. You just want to try to capture that in here.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thanks for the feedback, Carol.
Sure. And
So mine was uploaded on Saturday. It's near Gina's, if you want to take a look at it. I think it's down further.
oh yeah, there's Monday.
Oh, yeah, just after Gina's.
Okay. Yeah. Let's get your character up here. Back. Yeah, I think this is a really good start. I'm just kind of looking at proportions, and I think you can even like exaggerate this more up here, like his
Okay,
arm
so his
size.
chest.
Yeah, I think if you get these shapes bigger, you'll get that kind of more compressed arm. Like right now, they feel a little, I wouldn't shorten them, but I think if they're bigger, they're going to feel more compressed.
Okay.
Let's see if I can. All right, so let's see. Yeah, his legs are like super angled back.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think he can be a lot bigger up here.
Okay.
And he's really round through here. Like, go ahead and
Yeah, I was noticing that.
like I can see you've got an edge going across here because I see the light here and then
mhm.
darkness right there. So go ahead and just, whoops, that's not going to work. History up here. Go ahead and round that out.
Okay.
And then make it a little bigger too. I think it can come out more. And then he has a pretty wide neck here. Like I think it could be more like this.
Okay.
And then this is where you want to get more of the angle here. So the neck coming down more here.
Right.
And then his head could probably get bigger too. Like this part's really big here. And then it gets smaller up here. And then he's got these little ears kind of popping out.
I like the little smiley face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a cute character with his man bun.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's super round through here. And then he tapers here. And so he doesn't really have hips that do that.
Okay.
They look more like they're probably going to just come, they look like they're narrow through here and then get wider. And some of it's the pants.
Right.
But I think he's still pretty like larger down here in, you know, his thigh muscles right here get really large. And then I'd put like a little knee here. And then his calves are like way down there. And I think maybe you can shorten the legs a little bit, like, and then get like the, these boots are really big. I know you're just kind of doing a foot right here, but you know, I would make it bigger. Yeah, he's pretty narrow right here. Yeah, so something more like that.
Okay.
All right, and then yeah, the arms, I think, see how low they come down here? This is his fist. So we're looking at a knuckle right here, which would be here.
Mm-hmm.
So his knuckle is coming all the way down to here, which means if he opened his hand up, it would be down to here.
Wow.
So they're,
okay.
they're really exaggerated. He's got just like gigantic hands that are here. And then, yeah, they shorten pretty quickly, and then it goes right into this gigantic forearm here.
Mm-hmm.
And this, actually, it probably comes up to here. Yeah, I'm just kind of drawing lines across here, and you may want to do that on your character to draw lines across to where things are
Okay.
lining up.
So like landmarks and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this deltoid is like really pretty massive here. Goes in like that. Okay, is that helpful?
Yes, definitely. I had actually one question. When I was mirroring the like arms and the legs, it was mirroring on this, I think it was a Z-axis. So I heard
It
you
is. I
mention
can
something
see it right
earlier.
here. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
you're on the Z right here. So
So
this
then you said
should be the X. So you could once you merge everything together, you can rotate it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just rotate it around so that it's facing forward on the z-axis.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he actually looks like he has pretty tiny legs in there. They're angled back. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And that way there's room for the pants to kind of poof out right there. Okay, and then let's look at your side view. Oops. Yeah, so he's real straight up and down here. All right, so let's see if I can download that. This also looks kind of like perspective is on here too, so it sort of throws me off. Yeah, so here's where you can kind of like get the
Like a
chest.
bowing of his
Yeah,
chest a little bit more. Okay.
yeah. And then here, so I'm drawing it more as just like the building blocks. Yeah, and then with his legs, would almost angle them back like this. And then you've got the foot size in there pretty close. So, I mean, he's got the big toe right there, but that's more when you do the boot that it will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think if you can maybe angle his leg back more like this, and then it'll give you a little bit more room to kind of arch his back too.
Mm-hmm.
And pull his arms back more to here. This should be a different color. Yeah, and again, just that landmark of how far down these go. Like his his knuckles are here. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
they're
his fingers are down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty big. I mean, this is foreshortened right here with his hand coming forward, but if it was hanging down there, it would be it would
Yeah, I
be
see.
like clear down to here, the
Definitely.
fingertips. So yeah, just kind of allow for that. Okay, and then so his head. Actually, it's more like that.
Yeah, he's more set back. I see it now.
Yeah. And then maybe get his head doing something like that. He's got great hair. Yeah, something like that. So here's his jaw lines coming down more like that. Okay, is that helpful?
Definitely, I appreciate it.
Cool. All right, so I will save these, I guess, and upload them.
Do we have time for one more, Carol?
Sure.
Because I'd like to see feedback on mine, because mine's not humanoid, so I was having a bit of trouble like with the torso and stuff.
Is that the alligator?
Yeah.
One? Okay. Let's just save this one. And I think I had another one in here. All right. Was it this direction or here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, what I might do is just pull it down from the internet. Let's see.
Because I think I did the torso wrong, or like I made the torso one piece, but I'm realizing now maybe I should have done it as separate pieces, like chest, abdomen, and pelvis, and all that.
Yeah, usually you want to break those up into 3 pieces. There we go. I don't know if it came in here. There it is. Yes, you've still got like individual pieces here. Yeah, so this could have definitely been 3 pieces, like the hips, the torso, and the chest. And you've kind of captured the shape okay, though. And this is one piece also.
What I wasn't sure of was the proportion of the head, because in the image he has his mouth open, so I guess closing the mouth, like kind of threw me off a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll up for
Oh, it's
the
up.
reference.
There he is. Hmm. Yeah, you may want to, I think we talked about not having the mouth open, but I think it's
Yeah.
so much of the character's personality to do that, to have it open. These are separate pieces, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe do that, not so far open here, and then, you know, you'll just make the teeth in there. But as far as like proportions go, yeah, some of this is just getting stretched out quite a bit here. Like, you may want to just try to clean some of this anatomy up, because you're trying to like sculpt in the secondary forms during this blockout stage here. Like you're trying to capture all the muscles in here instead of just basic forms. So I would
Okay.
almost come in here and I need to get my UI in here. Okay. So like his forearm should be more round instead of, it got kind of square.
Mhm.
So I would try to kind of fix some of that.
So should I just redo the torso?
Actually, I don't think the torso is that bad. I feel like some of these other pieces just need to be kind of smoothed out a little bit. They're just, you want to try to get them a little cleaner. So some of
Right.
it's just smoothing them out. With the torso, I mean, I sort of feel like you have a lot of it in there already. It's a little, I mean, right here, it's just a little square. And then it looks like you have a neck piece in here, right?
Yeah.
So just like placement and stuff here, like this piece really needs to be back here. Like the whole arm could shift back.
Is there a way to move multiple subtools at once?
I don't think you can just pop back here. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think you can like multiple shift stuff. So usually it's just one. So usually I just grab them one at a time and realign them. You know, you may even want to put like a little bend in here, like the character's got. something like that. And then I feel like this is like too big compared to what I'm seeing up here. And then in Allison's, the video I did for Allison's character, I did an example of the feet in there. I see that you've cut off the bottom here, but I would try to like get the 4 toes in there. So have like a little area here that's just like you could cut these completely off and then start off with another sphere, kind of elongate it like the toes here, cut off the bottom, and then start placing those around.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. And like, so this is the tail, I think, under here. And I feel like this kind of comes down more like that. So that kind of round area probably should have been a separate sphere for his hips. All right here, and then the tail would have come off of that. And you could have done the tail in some different segments too. But with the tail, I would try to just clean it up a little bit. And yeah, and then the head. So
Needs a lot of cleanup.
needs a lot of cleanup. Yeah, like it almost needs like some different pieces up here. And I'm just looking at the torso again. Got there. Yeah, he looks like he kind of caves in here a little bit more, like in his chest. And then this piece, I don't know if you need that neck in there. I hope you guys can't hear that in the background. Yeah, so just some of the angles on this character, like he really has a lot of sweeping angles on here, like this. Like trying to really capture that, and then he's got quite a bit of volume under here. So that's what I would try to get back in here, is pushing this in. Yeah, you'll probably have to blend that together once you Dynamesh it. And then with the head, it feels kind of big compared to the body size.
Yeah, I was starting to realize that.
Yeah, like I almost feel like he's still thinner through here. Yeah, so with these, you can make them pretty, wouldn't square them off so much like that. So I'm trying to get the roundness back in here. It kind of got flat. Yeah, and then the head. So I would do these in kind of more separate pieces,
Separate
maybe.
pieces.
Yeah.
Like the eye, like
Yeah,
one
like
for
a,
the base and then one for the top of the.
yeah, exactly. And then I'm just smoothing it to knock down some of the volume on here.
Mhm.
And yeah, like I think, whoops, this could be all a sphere that you just drop in here.
Yeah. That might be more helpful actually, and
Yeah, so like
cleaner
if,
too.
yeah, a lot cleaner. So do this here. Oops. So something like that. And then let me get the shape in there. And then I think you can kind of see like the placement of the other eyes here, like they're a little off. Or a little more to the front like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then with the jaws, I would almost start off. Do you have a sphere in here?
Should be the first one.
Oh, this one right here, yeah. Yeah, this is also angled too, so it got tipped. See that? This one. Like I would start off with just real simple shapes like this. And Oh, I can't find that. Okay, I'm gonna just nuke it. Here. Yeah, and then so back on here too, like I think just keeping this more as a sphere. You know, is this helping? Like
Yeah.
in terms of feedback? Yeah, and I would just kind of leave that flat in there. Like, don't worry about hollowing any of that out. Just leave it for now.
Yeah, it was just I was trying to do too much, I guess, in the initial phase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just keep it like simple, simple stuff here. And then same thing with this. Like I would just do that same process. Because if I start knocking this down, let's see if it works here. No, it's not bad. Like this one might work okay. I'm trying to get that little smile in there. Like I think that's really important on crocodiles to get that little area that turns up. Or alligator, I'm not sure what he is. Yeah, you probably need to do the same treatment where you start off with that sphere, flatten it down, and then cut it off, and then come in and shape it just so it has a cleaner interior on it like that, cleaner edge. Okay. Is that helpful?
Yeah, it was. Thank you.
Okay.
But
And
do you want me to keep the torso as it is or redo it with the separate pieces?
I think it's going to work how it is right now. I think it just needs a little smoothing out and shaping. Mostly, I think I just flattened a lot of it in the front because it was just too bulky up here. He's pretty thin up here. He's kind of, I think, a little more lanky than what you had him, and flatter in the front.
I had him kind of square.
Yeah. So I'll just do that and send that to you. All right, and then did I miss anybody else?
Could you take a look at mine, Carol? It's Yang.
Who is this?
Yang?
Okay, yes. I think you had asked earlier. And when did you load your stuff up on
I'm
Saturday?
like right above him.
There you are. And this is your concept here, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's just pull this off to the side. All right, start from the front. Yeah, I think this is a good start. Let me do this. Whoops. And the side one. Okay. Okay. So arms are like the first thing that stand out to me, that they're just short. And she is leaning forward a little bit right here with this arm, but usually you want to just kind of exaggerate that. And I think you could probably bring this little shoulder piece out here a little bit more like that. So get this a little longer here, and then she angles out right here. And then her hands would be here. So that would be kind of a more accurate landing point for a female character, the fingertips coming down here. And then I think the hips are all good here. You'll start getting some of these transitions into her chest here when you start to Dynamesh, but with this torso piece, pull it forward so that it does this. It gets these shapes going here. Okay, and then her legs seem fine. These seem a little, maybe just a little long here. I would bring maybe the knees down to here. And then something more like that. And then her feet kind of landing here. And then I'll look from the side here, but this looks like it's a little rounded up here. Let's give you a little flatter. And then you might want to just maybe push these together a little more. Like that. I'll look from the side here, but the neck could be longer. And then the head. Maybe get her eyes a little bigger. And then get some ears in there. That. And she's got, you might want to put like a separate piece in here for her knees, or pull this down so it creates the knee. This form right here, you could pull it down like that. And other than that, that looks good from the front. Let's take a look at the side. So, and oops. Okay, so for this, so she's also kind of leaning forward here like that. I'm noticing that on a lot of the characters. So try to get more of this arch in here. So with this piece, it's the torso piece. If you pull it forward, it will create the start of the rib cage. So it should be coming more down here. And then this piece would be more back in here. And then I would bring this, so this is really rounded right here, the top of the chest. So it's flatter through here. And then with the legs, I think they're a little thick from the side. And yeah, they actually are pretty long. So maybe where I said to chop them off earlier, just go ahead and leave them at this length here. And then get her boot shape in there. And then move the shoulder back here a little bit more. Like that. Is that helpful?
Carol,
Yes.
I feel like her head needs to be a good bit bigger because it's like
Oh
way
yeah, it
bigger
does.
than her torso.
Yeah, she does have a huge head. So it's actually really wide in this direction here, and then sort of flat. But yeah, she could definitely get some more volume here.
Should I put something for her ponytail?
I mean, you can start blocking that stuff out, just real simple forms. It's not going to look great at first, but yeah, you could, I'll show you guys how to do like a skull cap. It's basically just another sphere that you take. And so you'd have your sphere, and then you would sort of either cut it or push it in. So it's more of a kind of a crescent shape like this. So then it sort of sits out here. And then you could take another, you could probably actually just pull out like the cylinder shape from the append tool, which is, you say append, there's this cylinder, or you could just stick with the sphere and just do this with it. And then, you know, go ahead and kind of drop that in there. And this would be another sphere that you would just kind of flatten here. So yeah, if you want to start adding some of that, this kind of stuff here where you start getting into this sort of swirly kind of hair thing right here, works better with these tools that I still need to upload for you. So this Macon hair curve right here allows you to just draw it out on a surface. So if I had this character here, so I'm just activating that tool right there, and it is affected by size, like how thick it will make the clump. And looks like I've got it going in both directions. So there's a little bit of setup that has to happen here. First, I don't want Z on. And then it's reversed right now. Let's see where that is. So this allows it to stick to the head. I'll do a separate video on this when we get to hair. And then I think it's stroke. Curves, no. I think that's it. No. I've got my little cheat sheet down here. I think it's hiding. There it is. All right, so there's a bunch of little things that you have to do to get the brush to work correctly. Stroke, curve, modifier. There it is. So this curve is going in the wrong direction, so you basically have to shift it to go in this direction. And then this is the tip of the hair down here. So usually you want to pull it up so it doesn't go to a complete point. And then this will create some volume in the hair here. So now if I do it, it's actually a really huge piece. Let's get it smaller. There it goes. So see how it's clinging to the hair like that? So you can either, or the head, so you can either do it that way, and then you've got these little things that you can pull here and start adjusting how it goes. So this is a whole separate video here, but you could always just kind of drop in a clump or two if you want to on the character. So this sticks to the head, and then this will make it move away from the head. So if I wanted to have it like come out like that, I could do that. Okay. So I'll upload those brushes into titanium for you guys. But yeah, is that enough information as far as this keeps popping up here, as far as the character?
Yeah, one last thing. Is it okay for me to leave her chin as pointy as it is? I wasn't sure because the picture is like super pointy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's one of the features on her, is at least from that angle right there, it would be coming to a point like that. Yeah, she's got a lot of angles on her, even just within her face, like her eyebrow is really angular. And then I'll show you guys too how to start bringing in like creating eyelashes and eyebrows, which helps to start get the features in on your character. But hopefully this is enough information to get you going here. Oops. And do you want me to save these off for you?
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, this head here could probably get bigger as well. Let's get back up to this color. So you could probably just like cut that off and make it bigger. Here's out here. Okay. So I'll save those and upload those for you guys. And then what time is it? We're at 12:05. Is there anybody else that I missed? Did I get everyone? Okay. Yeah, so these would be, this would be the next video for you guys to start watching right here. I'll upload it into Titanium also. This is the converting the blockout to a Dynamesh using Z-remesher to clean up and even out some of the topology. And then actually this is the blockout lesson here. That's not the right one. It's this one here, secondary forms. And then I'll do the same thing with the female character that I had started. I'll do a blockout on her. And then if it's helpful, this is the class that I've been taking with Hannah King. She's a character modeler at DreamWorks. She does quite a bit of sculpting. She keeps her character pretty slim to begin with, and then starts using the clay buildup tool here to start bringing in the forms. So you can kind of see how she works here. So I don't know if this would be helpful for you guys to watch as well. It is sped up. It's like 3 or 4 times faster than normal. And this is just showing how she's angling out the character here. So she masked it off and then used the transpose tool. Can you guys hear the audio on that? I don't know if you guys can hear that or not.
No.
Is it really low?
Well, I can't.
Okay, I think it's just probably because it's mixed in with us here. But this might be just good for you guys to see another block out. This is quite a bit of sculpting. But again, it's really broad strokes at this point and just figuring out the landmarks on your character of the areas that you want to kind of focus in on and stylize. Okay, so I'll try to get a copy of that going for you guys. And I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions? Do you feel like you have enough to move forward with the next step?
Where's the second video? I didn't see it.
It's right here, secondary forms. I loaded it up at 1:30 this morning. So it's this male character. I'll do another one with the female character that I had started the blockout on. So I'm just merging the subtools together. So I'm just merging down. You can see right there. And once they're all merged, I Dynamesh it together. And then I do, you don't have to do Z-remesher. I just tried to do that. I thought I would try it on this character here. Keep the eyes separate. So don't Dynamesh that into your character. You want to have the eyeballs kept separate. And then it's just starting to smooth out the forms and building up different areas. So it goes from this stage here to that. Okay, so that's what this video covers here. And sometimes I will emphasize certain things like his pecs right here are really like defined. but I don't think they are so much on this character. So I will probably come back and start smoothing some of these areas out. But it's sort of a process of kind of digging into the model with sculpting, pushing certain features, and then knocking them back down. And you kind of do that over and over again until you find the balance that you're looking for.
Can you upload all the videos onto Titanium?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay. And do we have anything like due for next week? Because next week is spring break.
So I guess we're not meeting next week online, right?
No.
I know, here we are in spring break. I would say just try to move through your secondary forums. I will get some more videos going too, to just kind of get out in front of the lessons here. I'll do one with hair. I still have to model the hands on this character here, so I'll show how to do that. And I think that's probably, you know, like in this stage with the hands done would be good, and the ears. We'll probably spend a whole week on like the face, the hands, and the feet, like getting them all detailed, since they're pretty important. The ears take a while also. But yeah, so I guess we don't meet next week. I forgot about that. So yeah, just look for videos, and then as much work as you guys can get done over the break, to just kind of move forward with a project. I would say try to do that. All right. Anything else? Okay, so have a great spring break. Let me see if anybody put anything in chat here. That's it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. All right, you
Thank you,
guys
Carol.
have a good break. Okay.
You too, thank you.
Thanks, Carol.
Okay.